Chase the money, chase the money, chase the money.
Her ass out, she going places that you can't. Call up a hoes and told them bring them out the sleigh. Fall, touch your toes, then I'm throwing 50K.
All right, welcome to CTG, Chase the Game. I'm the host, Chase Randolph. We got Mount Pleasant Hall of Famer Adam Johns, a.k.a. AJ, a.k.a. White Snipes. We got Lehigh legend Nigel Somerville, a.k.a. Thornberry. That's what they call him, a.k.a. QB1. We are here today on the show, CTG. Talking about some foosball, some American football, and got a lot of crazy games that happened this past weekend. And we got plenty of great upcoming games for Thanksgiving because, that time of year is where everyone's trying to make the playoffs and all that good stuff. So we'll get right into it. So basically, we'll start a little bit about the 49ers versus the Panthers. We got to bring that up. I got to rep my Carolina Panthers. Tough to get behind, man. They're tough to get behind. I mean, I was a little worried with Brock Purdy coming back in. Obviously, threw 3 picks, which is crazy. And then I got Fred Warner out. So I'm like, okay, we can get something going. Rico, we gave him the ball 6 carries. That's ridiculous. What are we doing here? So I'll let you start with it, Nigel. I mean, we're playing like shite.
Yeah.
So
100%.
what is it from coming from a QB himself?
I don't know, man.
What are we dealing with?
It's I think it's difficult, Chase, in this situation to kind of come back from 3 interceptions. You almost have to just go out there and just say almost like F it. You've already kind of done the worst that you can. Now it's just about one play at a time, execute, just kind of see it, trust it. But I think that's also kind of comes with, having the trust from your coaches to still feel like that you can go out there and still perform and be yourself without, feeling like there is pressure to be pulled out of game. I also think that just from a Panthers fan and a Panthers kind of perspective, it's very disappointing when you can, technically have 4 turnovers, 3 picks, 1 fumble that we should have gotten by Christian McCaffrey kind of late in the third that we just really didn't fall on. Just to kind of lose that game is almost mathematically like impossible. Like if any stat person will tell you that if a team throws 3 interceptions, it's pretty hard to kind of for them to win that game. So for them to win a game 20-9 with us to kind of cut the lead down to like 13 or I think we were down 13, but to cut the lead, at 13 points with like 6 minutes left in the fourth and just to come up empty, it's just real disheartening. It's especially just coming off a win like last week. It's just not something that you want to see from an offense, but just hoping that Bryce can just bounce back and just keep slinging the ball. 4 always looks good down the field, so he's fine.
Yeah.
But just the rest of these boys got to figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, they call Bryce the freaking Steph Curry of football. I mean, Steph Curry's not missing shots. Freaking Bryce over here throwing picks, and
I think, Chase, it's just the light-skinned Cali thing. It has to be. That's the only correlation that I see.
Yeah.
They don't have any sort of – I guess they have like this similar like laid-back swag, but besides that, it's just straight light-skinned California BS. No Steph Curry whatsoever. He just happened to be from Charlotte. That's it.
Yeah. No, I get it for sure. Well, I'll pass it over to AJ. I mean, I know freaking obviously CMC was the star of the show.
Yeah, with him, being a former Carolina Panther, he probably had a lot going on mentally. He was ready, prepared to go. Let's not ignore the fact 2 of our starting linebackers were out, Wallace and Bozeman.
Yeah.
We knew they'd be a little shaky there. I don't think the defense did too bad. I saw a couple missed holding calls, but this is the key here. If we want to talk about mathematics, 49ers had the possession 37 minutes out of the game while Carolina had 22, right? I agree with Nigel. Bryce really didn't play that bad. I want to say Tet probably had the worst game on the offensive side with 3 drops, and some were just right in the chest. And Bryce's last pick, man, they missed the call, and Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, they're talking about it, on the game cast, is they were definitely holding his arm back, and I think Bryce put it in a tight window, but the receiver getting held, that's going to lead to a pick and open up that spot. And then, McCaffrey's going to do what McCaffrey does, right? I think the first drive, he led in touches. I think only two other players had a touch on the first drive, and then I mean, man, I'm sitting there watching the game. Their first drive, I think, got all the way down to 6 minutes left in the first quarter. So,
Eating clock,
good old
eating the
fashioned
clock.
football from the 49ers with running the clock well, taking care of that game management side of things. That's what Brock Purdy does well. And then I think a lot of his shots, he was just throwing up prayers, and the DBs did pretty well. Not to mention, JC Horn went out halfway through the game. I think we had
Yeah, that's
three
right.
defensive injuries, and those injuries are definitely going to show up against LA this Sunday. So that's going to be rough to watch, probably a rough watch for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, yeah, he's out with a concussion, right? That's what he
Yep,
got. Yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal. Well, they play who do they play on
LA.
LA? That's right.
At
Ooh,
home.
I mean, obviously you spoke pretty highly of the 49ers, and I mean, with Brock Purdy coming back, he threw 3 picks. They still walked away with the W. I mean, AJ, do you think the 49ers can win the Super Bowl?
No, I do not. I don't even think they can win their division.
Ooh,
Rams are the hottest team in the NFC right now.
yeah,
That offense is powerful. You got Devontae in the red zone. He's the king there. And then Puka's gonna get all the run after catch, man. You just gotta get that boy the ball. Matthew Stafford right now is looking at it with MVP talks. He has moved up as the number one favorite for NFL MVPs past Drake May. He dropped from minus 210 to
damn.
minus 235 to win the MVP. So I mean they're rolling, man. They're hot. November, December football is when you want to get hot in the NFL, and they're looking like the hottest team right now.
It's almost
Yeah,
crazy
yeah, I
to watch
agree.
him, Adam, because I get like shades of like 5 years ago Devontae Adams and like 5 years ago Matt. Like that's how good they look. They look like they are like red zone. They can't be stopped. Like Devontae
Yeah.
Adams, like they can't like they really can't stop them. Like if they can just continue to run the ball and that defense is scary, that D line is elite. Like they're hard to stop. So yeah, the Niners definitely can't win their division. No shot. No shot. No shot.
That fade route
Yeah,
is almost 100%, I think, with Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford. I mean, you
Even
can't even
with
call that.
outside leverage, still
Yep.
just open, just open.
They know it's coming.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I saw some crazy stat. He passed Tony Gonzalez with Tony had 111. Sorry, he just got Devontae just got 115, and 1 yard touchdowns. That's very impressive. That just goes to show how much of a dog he is. So let's dive a little bit more into this Rams Bucks game, even though it was much of a blowout, and if since the Bucks lost this game, the Panthers had a chance to get to the top of the division, but the Panthers obviously we know what happened last night. So we'll go ahead and drop that where it is. But let's kind of dive back into the Rams game a little bit more. Nigel, I'll let you go into it. I know you brought up a little bit more about Matthew Stafford, and
Yeah.
you did too as well, Adam, about like his MVP race. How is he coming back? Like, how is he still? He got drafted. What? It was 19 years ago.
Yeah,
Is that
long
when he
time.
got drafted?
Like 2008, I think. Like a long time ago.
Run with
I
commercials
think
here
Adam
now.
can probably pull up the exact date, but he's been he's been doing it for a long time. I think him going to LA just kind of gave him like 10 to 12 years back on his career. So I think just Detroit was just beat like eating him up. He was getting beat up. Like they weren't winning. So like I think like him going back to LA as we saw him like 3 4 years ago, like they've already won the Super Bowl. I think with him, Sean McVay, they just somehow keep finding this guy. He always just somehow has a great receiver. Now he has two dominant receivers. And it's scary. He has two dominant receivers, a decent O line. They can run the ball. That defense is crazy, and they probably have a top five head coach in the NFL. And they're playing in a dome in LA. Like I mean, they're just like it's hard to be the guy who has everything in his backyard and it's sunny. So I mean, and it's LA. Like I think they have really everything that it takes to kind of be successful in this thing as we see.
Yeah.
And the Bucks are also a pretty good team. They're banged up, but at the end of the day, like they're still a pretty good team. Like they're first in the NFC South, still tied with the Panthers now. But I think I think they're not a bad team whatsoever. Adam, I'm sure you'll agree with that. But just as a running back, just as a guy who has to get hit a lot, what are your thoughts on just the physicality that the Rams bring kind of every single week?
Yeah, for sure. If they can't throw the ball, they got, Kyron Williams to run the ball. Last game he averaged 3.8 yards. That's nothing crazy, but he'll pick up the short yardage game that they really need. You
Right.
also got Blake Corum. He was a start in Michigan. He's finally starting to get a lot more touches. He's hitting about that same average. So they're not really missing with those two backs there. They can get the job done. And then, run it, run it, run it. And then you got to go over the top. You can go over the top or just throw a little screen to Puka and, he'll handle the rest. And I think
Yeah.
he's last game he averaged 13.9 yards per catch. And Devontae was 12.4, even with his 1 yard touchdown. As a receiver, you're averaging over 10 yards per reception. That's pretty hard to stop. That's an automatic first down.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you kind of talked about it a little bit about Sean McVay. And I mean, my question, Adam, to you, as a, another offensive player, Sean McVay was a wide receiver, right? You think that has any type of play into, how they are using their wide receivers over there and Devontae Adams' success at the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, he's already got two elite receivers. And I mean, Puka, with him being what a fifth round draft pick, he's turned him into, top 10 receiver in the league. When both your receivers are lighting it up like that, it's just hard to stop, right? And it makes it a lot easier because you can't put your number one corner on both guys,
Right.
right? They
Yeah.
line up Devontae Adams in the slot. They line up Puka in the slot. I mean, that's really what I've been seeing him do a lot here recently. And whoever's really running that slot has been hard to stop because you either got a linebacker or you got a nickel defensive back on him. And typical nickel defensive back is a third string, fourth string corner. So that mismatch. He's fine. I think he's finding the mismatches and then running the ball when no one's really expecting it. A couple screens here and there, and they're just running up and down the field.
I
Yeah.
think from
Yeah.
a,
Yeah.
I think to Adam's point, I think it almost kind of gives them an advantage, Chase, in the sense of like a receivers, they're gonna want the ball. They're gonna want the ball in creative ways. They're gonna always want the ball. Just hand it to them, toss them. I saw Puka running routes in between the tackles, like they just feed him the ball. I think it's
Yeah.
the way that Sean McVay schemes up plays. I think it really just does like kind of give Matthew Stafford a whole like second wind in his career. It's like, okay, football's fun again. Like, kind of do some creative things and also still win while throwing the ball 40 yards down the field with a guy who broke the route behind the line of scrimmage. So it's just crazy stuff going on. Like, crazy.
Yeah. I mean, crazy. Like, do you think the Rams could win the Super Bowl?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's my
100%. Both of you
favorite.
guys said Rams Super Bowl.
100%.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make a transition then to defending Super Bowl champs, Eagles versus the Cowboys. That was a crazy game. They were feeding with all the drama going on with the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, like with AJ Brown, all his tweets going out. I mean, it was evident that they were trying to feed that man the ball. It was the first quarter he had 5 reception for 60 yards. And ended up having the first touchdown, which was interesting to be a run dominant team, but go from that first quarter, first half, it's about 70% passing, which is interesting. I'm curious, both of you guys kind of can answer this. Just what what's your thoughts going into the game? Are you going to like listen to the noise and kind of make sure AJ is happy, make sure he's good? He had 1 reception in week 1. That hasn't really been part of the offense last year. The whole deal with him getting on the team and winning a ring. I mean, he didn't have much last year as well. If you saw, and I mean, Jalen Hurts was slinging the ball down the field to Devontae Adams and AJ, and I'd be like, normally, they're running the ball a lot. So I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. I'll let AJ go first.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up 21 nothing, you'd think that you would go to the run, especially with having one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah,
I understand where they're coming from here. You want to keep that relationship strong going into the postseason and going towards the end of the season here. At the end of the day, you're gonna have some receivers that just have that diva mindset. That's really what you want in a receiver. You want your receiver to want the ball, right? You want them to get open. I think when you centralize your whole game plan around that, that's where you can run into some issues. And then, back to what we were talking about earlier, you lose clock management throwing the ball 70% of the time. It gives you a lot of space. Cowboys got some elite receivers on their side with Pickens and CD. And they're one big play from getting back in the game, and we clearly saw that the other day with Pickens and his deep ball catches and just being a playmaker himself.
Yeah. He's got a combined him like you look at the Steelers combined receiving core, their top I think it was like six receivers. All six of them combined still have less than Pickens does in total receiving yards, which is crazy. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and I mean as well because we've got two great quarterbacks. I mean, is Dak back, Nigel, or I mean,
Well, I mean, I
is it?
think
I mean, he's always been here, I guess,
yeah,
but
he's always been here, but it's not it's not the regular season we're worried about with Dak. It's when the
hmm
leaves change colors and the ticket prices start going up $200, $300. Like we know that Dak's gonna throw for 400 yards. I mean, like 4,000 yards during the season. He's gonna throw for 30 touchdowns, like 10 or few interceptions. The Cowboys are gonna win. Let's say this like they're 4-5-1 as of the other day. It's another 5-5-1. They're gonna win about probably 3-4 more games, maybe still in the playoffs. Like it's not really a matter of fact of is Dak gonna play well. It's just if he's healthy, he's gonna be Dak, and Dak is he's one of the highest like quarterbacks in the league for a reason. It's just when the playoffs come, I think just as a quarterback and just kind of watching this game from their perspective, it's kind of scary to watch how the Eagles play because I don't think their issues from last year were resolved. I think AJ Brown was always kind of pissed off about not getting the football, but when you're winning a Super Bowl, it's kind of hard to complain because everybody's going to kind of look at you crazy. But like, I don't think that
yeah,
that was an issue that they even solved last year. I just think that winning covers up a lot of bullshit. So I think when you win games, it really doesn't kind of show the true issues that are going on. And I just think that it's just going to kind of get a little bit worse. Like when you're up 21-0 and you are kind of adhering to a guy and feeding him the football, which I'm not saying he shouldn't get the ball, but they also shouldn't change who they are just because some dude wants the football. Like there's a lot of guys who get paid a lot of money. I mean, you have a Heisman Trophy winner who's not really ever complaining about anything there too. So I think there's a lot of people who could complain with the Eagles, but you can't really just kind of adhere to one person because then you got deep overthrows like that. With Dak throwing a CD and just trying to force feed guys the ball in a sense. So it's just less about kind of adhering to what other people say and just playing Eagles football. Just give 26 the ball, play defense, block well, and they'll be fine. It's really all I got to do. It's not that hard, personally. I don't get it.
yeah, for sure. I mean, okay, so the next question obviously got to ask, you think the Eagles can still win the Super Bowl? I'll let Nigel go first.
See, that's a loaded question. Do I think they can? I think they can. I don't think that they will, just because I don't know if they're gonna try and die on this. Let's throw the ball hill. I think if they don't kind of get back to being who they are, running the ball with Saquon Barkley, and if he can't kind of get his swag back, I think they're gonna be an early out in the playoffs. I mean, they gave up 21 points on the road. I mean, they're an 8-win football team. It's just I don't know. I just think they have too many kind of internal issues that are let alone about who they're playing versus what's going on inside the building. So as of right now, I don't think they got it in them, Chase.
Damn, I hear you. I mean, yeah. What about you, AJ?
They definitely have the experience, right? We've seen them, make a push the past few years. Like Nigel was saying, you get Saquon back in the mix here, and get more of a load. I think they can make that stretch. Right now, they're like we said earlier, they're not the hottest team in the NFC. You got the Rams to worry about, but I will say that Eagles defense is strong, so it'd be a good matchup. That's something I could see being the NFC Championship. Um, but then at the same time, right, we can't be playing, who wants the ball, right? We just got to do what the team needs to do to win. So right now, I agree with Nigel. I wouldn't say they're the favorites, but you can't count them out, right? They're the defending champs.
Yeah, it's hard to count out the Eagles for sure, man. Eagles, they still winning, they're still top up there. I mean, obviously the defense, let up 21 points, and then obviously that crazy special teams play by was it Warner running down the field? Was it Warner? That's his name. I can't remember the Cowboys player. No, Clark.
Yep.
Clark coming down and causing that fumble. 21, they're tied up, and he freaking stuck him. And I mean, apparently he's never played special teams before. Got drafted and then got
Should have been a
put
fair
on the
catch in the
Eagles.
first place. Shouldn't even brought it. Shouldn't even been in.
Yeah,
Should have just let it go
yeah,
like that. Should have just let it go. I don't
yeah.
know
I
why he
guess I
did
mean
that play.
it's easy to say that now because he freaking got lit up. But yeah, if he's there to make the play, there was several Cowboys players there, and what was he freaking not even 15 yards out from the end zone, was he?
Yeah, he should just let it go.
Um, yeah, it's crazy, man. But all right, well, so speaking of other Super Bowl teams, we got to talk about the Colts versus the Chiefs. That was a crazy game. I mean, obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. You got Patty Mahomes, and then Danny Dimes is killing it with the Colts and freaking JT. I mean, he's apparently a favorite to win MVP, which when's the last time MVP was a running back? Adrian Peterson? Like, I think that's might be the last time it was. But anyways, that's insane. He's a beast. He's a superhuman. But when you think about it, the offensive line, right, is a huge part of that. You look at all these top teams that are winning, their offensive line is A1. That's who you invest in. So, I mean, I'll let uh I'll let Nigel dive into this one first. What are your thoughts on the Colts Chief game?
Yeah, I just think it was. I don't know. It's hard for me to really gauge the Colts. I think I like them. I think they have all the right pieces. I just don't know if the pieces are like wood or if they're like solid brick yet. I think they're built right. They have their quarterback or running back. I just don't know if it can last throughout the season. I know that JT is obviously a great back. I don't know if Daniel Jones can kind of keep playing as well as he has been. I don't think he's gonna play that poorly. I just don't know if he's gonna be as turnover less as he has. I think those issues might kind of creep back up on him, especially going into the playoffs when guys are scheming things up for him, trying to confuse him, just kind of throw a bunch of things at him. But the Chiefs look good. It was a gritty win. They did really. They're not the Chiefs of old. I think that's kind of what people kind of have to understand is they can't like put them in a box. Like I think we have to kind of look at this team like a Patriots team, like every single year to year, like they're gonna win differently. But at the end of the day, like it's still gonna be the same guys making plays. It's gonna be Mahomes, Kelsey, Sheed Rice now. The defense is gonna play well, and that's really what's kind of saved the Chiefs of this season and even last year. It's just that defense. I think if that defense can kind of just stay healthy, keep playing well. Chris Jones kind of has to get back to dominating. I feel like I see him on the ground too much, kind of just breathing tired, just looking exhausted. So as long as they can kind of keep playing well, I think they're going to make it competitive. If they get in, obviously it's anybody's game, especially in the NFC. They have, I think, the greatest quarterback of all time, in Patrick Mahomes. So once you kind of put that guy in there, it's really kind of hard to bet against him, and especially whether it's on the road or home. He proved that last year that he can go, to Buffalo on the road and still get to the big game. I think they have to find a running game, though. I think
Yeah,
they have to get Pacheco back healthy. I think it's just kind of still weird to see Kareem Hunt running the ball. Like it feels like it's 5 years ago, but it's not.
yeah.
It just will never, sit right with me. And then Travis Kelsey, it's almost time. It's almost time. I think
He
he's
was running
getting.
Wildcat on Sunday. I saw
Yeah,
that was crazy.
it's
Haven't seen that in a long time.
yeah, but Chase, I think he's doing too much. I think it's getting time, man. He just doesn't. He looks good at times, but then I think there's too many times where he just looks like, all right, he looks like he doesn't want to be there. He just looks old. He looks
Oh,
slow.
okay.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's got two more years left in him. So while they got him, I think they have to just kind of push and make this run, and just really just try and just get as much as they can out of Kelsey, and really out of Spags and even Matt Nagy on offense before these guys leave eventually, because there's going to be some good jobs that open up in the next few years. So they got a window
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
now. They got to try to keep these guys happy, and they got Mahomes for the next 45 years. So as long as they can kind of keep on track and
45.
make sure that
Yeah.
they're healthy. Adam, what do you think about these Colts? Like, I don't. Do you trust them? I don't know. I don't know if I
Well,
trust these dudes, man.
yeah. So, well, real quick before you go, Adam, I know you brought up the fact that last year the Patty Mahomes was Patty Mahomes, but last year 12-0 in one-score games.
Right,
This year they're 0-6 in one-score games.
right.
Now I'll let you go ahead, piggyback off that, Adam.
Yeah. Last year they had a lot of things go their way when it came down to one score games, and they're just really not getting that this year. Um, at the end of the day, like Nigel's saying, it's the Chiefs. With the AFC, the way the AFC is looking, a lot of younger teams or less experienced teams in the postseason are at the top of their division. So if the Chiefs can just make the playoffs, they're going to be the most experienced postseason team getting in. As far as the Colts, I got them on fraud alert. I don't know if they're getting
Mm,
exposed here, but it really shows how good a team is if they can put a game away. And I think they had the chance to put the game away,
Hmm.
pull that out. Daniel Jones, he lacks experience in the postseason as well. With their division, I think they can hold out and win that division. Texans defense is looking hot, so this coming weekend will be interesting. We can get into that later. But JT also, I was looking at it. He had 16 carries for 58 yards. That's a bad game for him. So they really coming off the bye, they need to kind of get things going and get back in the groove that they're in before going into their bye week. So it'll be important to see how well they play the Texans coming up.
yeah, yeah, because it seems like if you stop JT, you stop the Colts, right? Is that kind of what you're kind of saying? Yeah, I mean, it looked like it that on Sunday. Like if
Well,
you
Chase,
stop
last
Jonathan,
on their last their last four drives, they went 3-0. So if
yeah,
you can't go on the road in Arrowhead in November. You're not gonna be able to go on the road anywhere in December or January and try and close a game out. You can't four straight 3-0. So that's just bad. Bad. It's just bad for business. It will never
yeah,
work, and I think it's just another reason why I just agree with Adam. Like I don't trust the Colts yet. I just don't think they're. I think maybe next year. Next year, I think Daniel Jones one more year, but right now, I just can't trust him. I can't trust him.
fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I hear a lot of good things about the Colts, and obviously I tune into the Pat McAfee show, so that's what like I'm get high on the Colts or whatever, and but watching them Sunday and seeing if you're one-dimensional team, it's hard to see you going all the way to the Super Bowl and winning the big game. So many teams that win the Super Bowl are multi-dimensional games. They're passing and running, and then also have a outstanding defense, and that's why I like the Rams for sure as one of the teams is making it obviously the top of the NFC. But bringing up, I know you kind of harped a little bit on the Houston Texans defense. Obviously, Colts are going to be facing them. But before we get into that, we got to talk about Bills versus Texans. Obviously, people have counted out the Houston Texans because of CJ Stroud's been down and out and got injured, and they saying the Texans are not making a dent on the playoffs. But honestly, the way they played in against the Bills was pretty crazy. What he had 8 sacks against Josh Allen, and I mean it's hard to freaking win a game when you're getting sacked 8 times,
Yeah,
even if you're Josh Allen.
yeah.
So I'll let you know Adam kind of preach on that, and then kind of
Yeah.
just go ahead.
So
Yeah,
Texans are sitting at 6-5, but they are 4-2 at home, so they play pretty well at home. CJ Stroud, he's had some injuries, struggling a little bit this year. I think Davis Mills is a good game manager, right? He does what needs to be done. They got a young receiving core that needs to probably just catch the balls, maybe tune up their routes a little bit more. Um, but the saying, defense wins championships. I don't think it'll win them a championship, but I think it'll help them compete for the division. That defense is stout, and with D'Amico Ryans as their head coach, he's a Texans linebacker legend. He's always gonna have that defense right. So it'll be a good test to see them up against the Colts this next week and see how well the Colts can play against them. I think they're gonna hold that run game down a little bit again. So JT might have another rough game, but like you said with the Bills, getting sacked that many times, it's just hard to win the game. But they do still show spurts of being a really good team. I mean, at that 4th and 27 to convert that and keep them in the game, right there at the end, that was pretty impressive
Right.
with Shakir. So,
100%.
I wouldn't count out on the Bills. They're just, they're kind of struggling a little bit right now, but they're still 7-4. So there's still room for them to make the playoffs.
I actually love what you said there, Adam. I'm a bit, I think, a little critical sometimes on quarterbacks just because like, I know how hard it is. Just I like kind of notice things. Like I think Josh Allen is mostly like a great quarterback. But I think that we as citizens, and I think people in general, start needing to. I think people need to start putting Josh Allen in that Joe Burrow tier of quarterback instead of the Patrick Mahomes tier of quarterbacks. Because like, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna be real with you. I think they don't give him enough, and I think they try to ask him to be Superman too much for a team. Right? They have a good running back. I mean, I think like the receiver that they drafted to really be their number one they can't even really get him to kind of do the right thing. Like he's always getting suspended. So I think and then they have like great tight ends, but at the end of the day, like you still need to be able to stretch the ball down the field. Josh Allen isn't. I mean, he can't do everything by himself. I mean, there's the amount of times I'll watch him on third down, scrambling around for 30 seconds and see nobody out there, and then just take a sack. It's kind of incredible. So I think they need to do more in terms of getting him weapons and just scheming plays up. But I think at times they kind of get too one dimensional. I think when you can shut down that Bills run game as we saw, it's kind of hard for them to get going, even with a guy like Josh Allen back there.
Chase the money, chase the money, chase the money.
Her ass out, she going places that you can't. Call up a hoes and told them bring them out.
Yo. Okay, so as we transition a little bit into our Week 13 previews and predictions, we welcome Alan with the bookkeeping, the bets, all through Alan. He's
Gotcha.
the best guy out there. He actually, I want to share a little insight. This dude put a four-leg parlay, four receivers over 100 yards for $111 at the beginning of the year. For week 4, was it? I told him, I'm like, you're putting $111 on this. Ended up hitting. CD Lamb in overtime got over 100. He won 16K. So that just goes for everyone out there. If people are listening, that this man knows what he's talking about. So let's get into it. So as we gonna go into Thanksgiving week, kind of get into spending time with our family, eating food, my favorite time of the year, where we're eating, watching football, and hanging out with family. That is, no better way to spend my days. So let's start it off. So on Thanksgiving Day, we got Packers versus Lions at 1 p.m. kickoff. I'll let Adam kind of go into it. What's your kind of predictions on the game, and what do you think is going to happen? What does Dan Campbell and the Lions need to do, and what does Jordan Love and the Packers need to do to win this game? I'll let you take it
Yeah.
away.
So Lions at home, that's a big one for them, right? This is Thanksgiving game. They've been doing it for over 50 years, so they definitely have a lot of pride coming into this game. Dan Campbell, he's going to make his risky decisions, and they're going to go for it on fourth down, and we're going to see some ballsy play calls. But it's a big win for the Lions. They need to win this here. I feel like Jordan Love's been struggling a little bit. He's just not the consistent quarterback that the Packers are looking for. But then again, that man can always throw up 300 yards. You never know. So if I was the Lions, I'd just keep feeding Gibbs. I think in fantasy he had 55 points or something like that. Dude
Damn.
had 3
Brady.
touchdowns. He had
Yeah,
over
he went
200
off.
yards all purpose. So I keep feeding Gibbs, hit St. Brown when he's open. Goff's going to get back into gear, and then they're just going to need to apply pressure onto the Packers, right? Get that pass rushing going, and same for the Packers. I guess we'll see if Brandon Jacobs is coming back. I don't know if that's been posted yet. That'll be important for them as far as their run game. I think Wilson is still a solid backup running back. He had a solid game. And then, their receivers, you never know. Guardian Cap Dobbs, he may go off and have over 100 yards, so you can never leave that guy out as well.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I was just watching Gibbs on Sunday, and I was thinking like, damn, I never had like breakout speed like that. Like how fun football would be if I had breakout speed like that, dude. Are you kidding me? That dude is so fast.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But what are your thoughts, Nigel, on the game?
Yeah, just real quick off the speed thing. It's not the same game. I couldn't imagine just literally just dictate if I want to get tackled or not just by how fast I am. So I couldn't imagine that. I think it's an unfair advantage. So I think it's fair. So Jamar Gibbs, kudos to you. It's impressive, but I don't know. It's gonna be a good game. I think not only is it a primetime game, but it's a Thanksgiving game. It's an NFC North game. It's a big game for the division, and it's a big game for the NFC as a whole. Just looking at it, I think you gotta just just easy. It's, Michael Parsons, Jordan Love, Christian Watson, like big time names, and then you got Jared Goff, Jamal Gibbs, and Hutchinson. So it's primetime game, primetime players. I think really it just comes down at this point to the quarterbacks who can not turn the ball over. And then on the opposite side of that, which defense can kind of get those late turnovers and that key stop. I think it's going to come down to who really wins the fourth down battle. I think both these teams are really aggressive on fourth down. The Lions obviously are more aggressive, and I think the Panthers can be more analytical in the sense of whether they want to go for it or not. But if Dan Campbell can kind of stay aggressive, just really feed Gibbs and play good defense and get after Jordan Love, I don't see why the Lions can't kind of get it done.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I mean, the Packers haven't really shown me a ton. Honestly, if I'll be honest with you. I mean, they've come in some clutch performances, but they haven't really got it done when it like really against some good teams. I mean, for the most part. But I'll kind of get into the details and what what really matters about the bets. So, Alan, I mean, who's favorited? What's the spread looking like? Over
Yeah.
under? What we looking like? Let's hear it.
Yeah, this game, I mean, honestly, this game's probably really going to be interesting, the most interesting of the night, in my opinion, when it comes to like player props, plays, spread, total, all that good stuff. Right now, we have, not Cowboys, Lions in Green Bay sitting at 48.5 over, right? So it's looking like it's going to be a pretty high scoring game. That's average of about 20 points per team. One team may take it away. So, there's going to be a couple, touchdown scores, things like that. So that's something to be on the lookout for if you like those player props. The total looks like it's more favored. Me personally, I would kind of stay away from the over just because the last game, when it came to Green Bay, they only scored about 23 points. It's kind of a toss-up. But at the same time, though, I can also see them coming out swinging because, I mean, the Detroit Lions let the Giants get 27 points on them last game. So it's a toss-up. That's why the spread, so going to the spread's really close. It's at 2.5. I will say, though, that it did slow down, or it did rise up. So it actually moved from 2.5 to now +3, favoring Detroit. So Detroit is actually the favorites for tonight or for that game. And I'm not convinced I'm honestly not convinced on Detroit. Green Bay looks really good. The only thing with Detroit is that with them having that hard time against the Giants, I mean, that's tough to say. But at the same time, Green Bay has a great team behind his back. They're trying to make everything happen. I'm kind of leaning more towards the Green Bay spread. I would take it at +3. Even anything higher than that, +3, +3.5. I'm sticking with Green Bay on that, just because the Detroit they showed me some bad stuff last week, in my opinion. But they are the favorites. They are the favorites. It's really close too. It's in my opinion, like I said, it looks like it's going to be the best game.
Yeah, no, that's interesting for sure. I mean, I agree for sure. Like with the what's on the line and stuff with this game, and they're very competitive. Like these two teams, and particularly now, you said it was in Lambeau Field, which that's I mean, it's gonna be
Yeah,
tough
it is.
because
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
Oh, wait.
with
I don't want to cut y'all off, but I take back what I said. I saw Jared Goff last week in Philly with the long sleeves and the turtleneck and the two gloves. If it's in Lambeau, I'm going to have to go with that. I think I might. I think I like the Packers spread. I don't like
Packers,
Jared Goff in the cold. He looked like he was freezing last week. It was 40. It was 50 and windy in Philly. He had a turtleneck on and gloves. It's going to be in Green Bay on Thanksgiving. If it's above 50, I like if it's above 50 degrees, I think I like the Lions minus 4.5. But if it's under 50 degrees, like 49 degrees, I'm taking the Packers plus 2.5.
Yeah, I
okay,
can see
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's at Detroit, guys.
it's in
Yeah, it's
Detroit. It's
correct.
not in
Yeah,
Taking the
Lambeau.
Lions, baby.
They're taking the Lions.
yeah. Lions are the favorites, most favorites. So
Oh man.
yeah,
So the people are going with the Lions.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, absolutely. And in
Normally,
fact, like as like live right now, the money line for the Green Bay is like dipping like crazy. So a lot of people are putting a lot more money on Detroit Lions money line. So that's a good point as well. But I will say when it comes down to like the public on a specific team, that's something to always ask questions about. Because like last week, there was about 5 to 6 favorites, and all favorites either lost or the underdogs covered their spread. So a
Right.
lot of times that as the days go on, you have today, you have tomorrow, and then Thursday is going to be game time. As more teams and more people go towards the spread, it's just something to start asking questions on. But I mean, first glance and looking at everything, definitely Detroit. I'm just looking at the lines. I follow the money, so that's how I got to look at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel that. And I mean, so apparently last night with the Panthers, they're at the beginning, or like it changed from closer to the game where Panthers became more of a favorite by the people, and obviously we saw what happened with that. So, but we'll go on to the 4:30 game with the Chiefs versus the Cowboys. Patty Mahomes, Dak Prescott. What are we looking like, Nigel? Who we got? What you got on it?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a big game. I think it's going to be a decently high scoring game. I'm kind of thinking like a 27-30 kind of game. Like, honestly, wouldn't be mad if anybody took the Cowboys just based on kind of what you saw last week. But then again, if you put the Chiefs in that situation when they're up 21 points, I don't think they're allowing the Cowboys to come back if they were in the Eagles' shoes. It's kind of hard for me to go against Patrick Mahomes, whether it's on the road or at home. Kind of like the Chiefs here, just based on past luck, and I don't think the Cowboys can really handle big games in the spotlight. Like I think we kind of seen that it just gets too bright for them. I think the Chiefs are going to have something schemed up for Dak in that passing game. They're still going to, do what they do, but if the Chiefs kind of play football how they want to, and I think it's going to have to be a grimy, gritty game, and if they can do that, then I think I like the Chiefs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I think I might have to get behind you on that because, like, just I don't think.
It went out, Chase.
It went in and out.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
can hear
All
you
right.
now. Yeah, I
Damn.
can hear you.
Okay. Well, we'll edit that out. But no, I mean, I'm gonna have to get behind you on that. Like, Chiefs are the Chiefs. I mean, I believe. I mean, even though they're 0 and what 5-6, 0-6 in one score games this year, I still think they're too good to lose to the Cowboys. And what are your thoughts, AJ?
Must win for both teams here. I agree with Nigel. Spotlight, we typically see Dallas fall. They are at home. That could help. They only got Chiefs favored by 3. I could see them winning by a lot more. Just because Dallas's defense is a little shaky, right? So if Chiefs can get ahead early, I think they can hold on to the win. They're not going to fall back and let them come back. But Dallas has had a fire under them here recently, so I think it'd be an interesting game to see how it plays out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm curious too. I mean, let's take it over to Alan. What are the bets looking like? How the odds
Yeah.
looking?
Yeah. Odds for this game, again, another like 48 and a half total. So another high scoring game, which makes sense kind of going based off of what AJ was saying about Dallas being a really bad defensive team. The thing is with Dak and all his wide receivers is that with the offense, they have to score a lot in order to keep up with the teams they're letting the defense score. Like the defense is trash. The defense is trash. So makes sense why it's a high total. It's plus 3.5 Cowboys, so they're expecting the Chiefs to be the favorites. They are the favorites. Money line sitting at 170 right now. So a lot of people are hammering that Chiefs, which is great. And as I'm seeing right now, it looks like the spread for the Dallas has moved twice. So it was plus 2.5 yesterday. It was plus 3 today, and it looks like it's tinkering over to plus 3.5. So a lot of this game is going towards the Chiefs' way. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs take it, honestly. I will say though, it's just like AJ and Nigel said as well. Like Cowboys need to win. It's a must win. And their schedule, if they can get past, if they can get past the Chiefs, they already got past the Detroit last week. If they can get past these guys and keep it going, they can make something shake. But I don't know. It's tough. That Chiefs magic is crazy. So I'll be leaning the Chiefs as well.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah, yeah.
take
I
that money
mean,
line.
so I would say all four of us going Chiefs money line, huh? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
No,
that's
And
what
what
I'll
is
go with.
the people are voting Chiefs for this, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, might have to get on that just because I don't think this one Vegas is not going to be able to stop Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs, right?
And
I
where's Taylor
mean,
Swift? Does anyone know? Questions?
she hasn't been there. That's why they're 0-6 in the one-score games.
I think they started winning when she went away. That could be on me though.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
If
No,
she's
that's
not in the
funny.
game, they're gonna win.
T Swifty not gonna be. Well, it's gonna be in Dallas, right? So
Yep.
we'll see.
And keep
In
in
We'll
mind
see.
Dallas,
too, like, sorry to cut y'all off, but like when it comes down to, at home, with Dallas being at home, they usually give like an extra 2.5 to 3 points extra for the team that's at home. So since Dallas is at home and they're
Mm,
plus 3.5, that even tells you even more that the games and the Vegas and all the odds and everything is more caters to the Chiefs anyways. They
right.
probably expect the Chiefs to win either like fully outright by one or two, and that's why the spread's about that, 3.5. So they probably win by a field goal or so.
that's interesting. Okay, well then, yeah, you heard it here, folks. That the Chiefs are gonna get the dub. Now we'll go transition to Black Friday. Bears versus Eagles, 3 p.m. A little Black Friday shopping, football. I don't know what you guys do on Black Friday. I mean, I don't really go out and shop as much just because it's kind of crazy. But what we'll jump with AJ. What is your thoughts and predictions with the Eagles, and how's it looking? I mean, both pretty dominant NFC teams. What are we hearing?
Yeah, it was tough seeing them lose that comeback last week and just not being able to put the game away. Just from what we've seen from Chicago here recently, they've been able to win the close games and win them in an ugly way. I can see them keeping it tight. Ben Johnson's doing a really good job getting that offense rolling, and Caleb Williams has impressed me this year. He's definitely starting to turn the corner, looking like a solid quarterback. I think if the Eagles run that same kind of game plan and focus on taking care of the receivers and swaying away from Saquon, it could be a close one here. Last I checked, Alan, you can correct me on this, but I think it's Philly -7. I could see just because Chicago's been in about every game here recently, I could see Chicago covering, but Philly's still coming out on top since it is in Philly, so that does help.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
I definitely do like the Bears here at a +7 odds. I wouldn't even mind. I mean, I don't hate that at all. And I do think to your point, Adam, Caleb Williams has definitely done some things this year that can leave you a little bit less worried than you were last year. Especially just with him being healthy, I think is one big thing. I think we see Jaden Daniels. It seems like every other week get hurt. That's a guy who won Rookie of the Year and kind of took that spotlight over. Now it's really just Caleb Williams, Drake May, and that guy in Minnesota who just you got to talk about him. But it's just it's really kind of just his kind of race now. I think the Bears are playing some good football. This is obviously a game that the Eagles should win. It's going to be a close one. But I do like the Eagles here to win. But I don't hate by any means the Bears at +7 just face off. The Bears defense has been playing better. I think the Eagles are still trying to find their, true identity, whether it's going to be this run heavy, team or this throw early down, try and get a big lead and just run the ball later. Just kind of run the ball early and just kind of maintain that identity. But we're going to kind of see what team the Eagles bring with them on this Friday. And whatever team that brings, it's going to really just depend on anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, honestly, with what the Bears got going on, I think they've kind of hit a stride and they've been working with it. And I think it's going to be a good game. I don't want to say the Eagles are counting the Eagles out just yet, because they are still the Super Bowl defending champs, and they are trying to push that other identity of passing, and they need to focus on what they're good at so they can win games, because that's what matters. We're talking about the NFL. What keeps people's jobs, what put food on the table, is winning games. And so what obviously you said the spread was +7, or what, 7 points. I mean, that's interesting to hear from me. I mean, like, me personally, just because like I know Panthers were +7.5 last night, so like it was what 9 to 20 into that game. Now what are we talking with? What are you hearing, Alan, on your end with the Bears and the Eagles game?
Sorry, I was muted.
You
Yeah,
good?
so just going over the totals first, right? I like to look at that just to kind of expect scoring, to expect kind of like the sway of the game. And right now it's 50-50. They're both minus 115 for over under 44 even. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty close game. That's about 20 points each team, maybe 17 and 14 or 21 and 14. It's going to teeter around there. I would probably lean a little bit less on the total. So low scoring game. But yeah, no, AJ was completely right when it comes to the spread. The spread is 7. Again, it's going to be Friday. Things are going to move all day. Right now it's at 7. It can go to 7.5. It can go to minus 6.5 for the Eagles. So it can move. It can move. Right now I'm seeing honestly both happening. So yesterday it was 7. I see some apps favoring it at plus 7.5, and then I see some apps favoring the Eagles at minus 6.5. So it could be either or. The one thing that is common though is that the Eagles are winning. I mean, there's just no way around it. If
Right.
they got to win, they're at home. They had a terrible loss to Dallas with that comeback. Um, you know, uh, Jalen Hurts and Saquon, they are the defending champs, and they've just been kind of average this year. So they need to have a game where they're standing out. And I will say, when it comes to the Chicago Bears defense, even though I will give credit to Caleb Williams and the Bears, they've been doing amazing. They actually have a really good record. I think they're 8-3 right now, 8-4, something like that.
Hmm.
They're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well. So they're starting to gain momentum, gaining that team chemistry. So it would be kind of tough to kind of look at them and beat. But I can definitely see that the Eagles have a little bit more to gain from this, in my opinion. But right now, just to kind of give you kind of like ranks of like the Cowboys, they're 27th right now in total yards allowed. So that means that Jalen Hurts should have a field day when it comes to throwing. So some main people to look out for is AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, not Adams, I'm sorry. But yeah, so like just a lot of passing yards is going to go to Jalen Hurts. I wouldn't expect him to rush as much, but they're 21st as well on passing yards allowed, and then 28th on rushing yards. So I know Jalen Hurts got 2 TDs last game. I would expect Saquon to either get a TD or 2 this game as well. So I'm leaning a lot towards Eagles. If I were to take anything, I'm probably taking Eagles minus 6.5. Just because I think they're going to win by a touchdown. I wouldn't go anything over that just because the Bears. I mean, they have a great record. They're playing really well. I can't see them losing by more than a touchdown, in my opinion. But I am definitely 100% favor of the Eagles for sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have a question for you, Alan. I know if some viewers don't understand, what kind of controls the spread? What makes it change and go from different numbers? Like what kind of is in control of that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's going to be a lot of like injuries, right? So a big thing is injury. Another thing is going to be the at home play, right? So again, think about it. Whenever a team is playing at home, they are favored an extra 2.5 to 3 points. So realistically,
Mm,
if the spread is minus 6.5, that really means that Vegas or whoever's creating all the spread and everything, they really think that they may lose or win by only around 3 or 4. So, that's where I would favor a lot of the Chicago Bears as that plus 7.5, if it is ever gets to 7.5. But if it stays around 7 and 6.5, that's where you kind of look at that, right? But there's just a lot that goes into it, record, again, where I listed off the, total and defensive ranking, offensive ranking for the Eagles. There's just a lot to play with it, and these guys get paid stupid amount of money to figure out like statistically what kind of odds and
yeah.
numbers to put up, but all of that has to be in play. All of that has to be in play. So, but a biggest thing is continuously watching the lines throughout the week, just to kind of see where it's been favoring. Right. Again, one day it might say this number, tomorrow it might say another, and then as game day goes, you can see how far things go. So that's another way to look at it as well. Because again, injury report, you never know who gets injured during practice, who shows up to
Hmm.
practice, who doesn't. There's just a lot to play with it. So they're going based on that right now, without all the reports.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, for sure. So that's very interesting. And so I guess that will bring us to the next game that I wanted to kind of cover and talk about. So obviously, Carolina Panthers, we know what happened with them versus the Rams at 1 p.m. the 30th on Sunday. Um, is this going to be a shite game, or is it going to be an actual competitive, good game to watch? Should this be something for the Panthers fans out there to be excited for, or is this going to be a straight ass whooping by Matthew Stafford? I'll let Nigel start with it.
Yeah, it might be a shite game. I hope it's not going to be a shite game, but there's definitely a possibility it might get shitey, real shitey, really early. But you know, I think there's some hope in the way we play. The defense, I think, is going to ball out. I'm excited about that. I think watching hopefully JC can come back. I think Mike Jackson's been playing a lot better this past few weeks. So I think we're going to have answers for their receivers. Obviously, we can't stop Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams from everything they want to, but we can at least make it a little bit difficult for them. I think it's kind of what we've always been kind of talking about ever since 2015. Can the offense kind of, come to play football? I think if we can stop the run, there shouldn't be a big issue with the Rams. And if we can stop the run, can we just score points? Can we just dictate the ball? We cannot let Matthew Stafford just have the ball. If that's what the game is going to look like 3 and outs. If we punt the ball more than like 5-6 times, it's going to be bad. We cannot have Matthew Stafford with the ball in his hands. We got to play keep it away. We got to control the ball. And Rico cannot have touched the ball 6 times. It has to be damn near 24. He has to almost quadruple his carries. It's got to be a consistent thing to get him the ball like he's our Saquon Barkley. Not saying he is Saquon Barkley. We have to almost have that mindset where run the ball, heavy play action, throw to tap, get the ball to 4, get the ball to 5, play action 0 underneath, put Chuba in situations, but just kind of stick with the guys who make us bread and butter, make us our money, and then damn it, just score some points and stop the run. It's not that difficult, man. It's really not that difficult.
Yeah, unless they can't stop Devontae Adams and freaking Puka, Matthew Stafford's gonna be slinging it. I mean, I don't want to, put anything into the interview in the universe.
Chase, I think to your point, I think that's a good thing to bring up. I think we have the guys in the secondary to bring that up to counteract that. It's just, can the other side of the ball just come to play? I think we'll be able to stay with them on the defensive level, just kind of offensively. Just can we play competitive football and one up the offense and kind of just combat what they're doing over there?
It's gonna be tough. J.C. Horn might be out still for concussion with concussion protocol. I know that's obviously our best corner, so hopefully we can. And then obviously, what was it, Corey Thornton? He out with an ankle. I don't know how severe that is or what he's gonna play or not. But concussions, I mean, I doubt he would be able to go through concussion protocol unless it's a light concussion. I don't know how that stuff works. I never really kind of missed too much time from a concussion. So, what is your thoughts on the game, AJ?
We're cooked.
Oh yeah.
If JC and Thornton are out, that's definitely going to be tough because they got 2 dominant receivers. I agree with Nigel. Rico's got to get more touches, 6 carries. I mean, I think he averaged over 6 yards a carry last night, and still only seeing him on the sideline hurt. And it's like, why do we keep going back to this? When this dude gets majority of the carries, we play great. And it seems like occasionally they'll go back to this split back, type of offense, and it just doesn't end up working out. Bryce is playing well, but if we're dropping the ball and going 3 and out, then I could see the Rams easily covering. And you could even go maybe minus 15.
Ooh, damn. Well, I guess that will kind of carry it into Alan. What are we looking at the spread? What is the over under? What are we looking for the Panthers Rams?
Yeah, so Panther Rams looks like the Rams are going to go absolutely nuclear. It's actually going to be a pretty low scoring game, it seems, still 44.5.
Okay.
Those games like that still seem super low. Like when I see high scoring games, I'm looking at around 48.5, 49.5, 50 over. That's where I'm like, okay, it's going to be a high scoring game. But this might be something like it was last night, where it was just kind of like it expected to be nice, expected to be crazy, but it ended up being kind of a slow game, a couple interceptions, things like that. Weirdly enough, it could happen, even though Matthew Stafford's probably getting up there for MVP talks. But still, something kind of tells me that they know something we don't with how low that total is. In my opinion, is still pretty low. But spread wise, right now it's sitting and teetering on 10.5. Rams, so minus 10.5. So they expect Rams to again go nuclear. So win by more than a
Mm.
touchdown and a field goal, or more, right? So or two touchdowns. So it looks like a lot of people are favoring that. And then right now the Rams money line is just not worth it in my opinion. It's sitting at minus 550. That's I mean that's just a guarantee,
Damn.
right? Yeah, that's just a
That's so
guarantee.
disrespectful at home. That's
So disrespectful. And again,
unbelievable.
keep in
Ouch.
mind, with the Panthers being at home, they're getting favored an extra 2.5 to 3 points. So realistically, the reason why it's plus 10.5, teetering over 11. So I just looked at it as well, where it was 10 yesterday, it was 10.5 today, and now the spread by tomorrow looks like it might be plus 11. And again, when a team's playing at home, they get an extra 2.5 to 3 points. So realistically, they think the Rams are going to be winning by 14 or more. So again, two
Damn.
touchdowns is what is expected. So, yeah, the Rams should go crazy. You already know how we are defensively when it comes to the Panthers. I think it's just going to be a good game overall. Me personally, I would favor going with the spread. Minus 10.5 is probably a steal right now because I would say when game time comes, it's probably going to be around minus 12.5, 13.5. So I'd get the spread pretty early.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. I mean, shoot. It's tough to being a Carolina Panthers fan, but we gotta see it through. Gotta see it through. We'll go to the next 1 p.m. game on Sunday. The Texans versus the Colts. We got JT Danny Dimes versus the Texans defense. I mean, I really watching them on Thursday night against the Bills. I mean, granted, the Bills kind of got some stuff they got to figure out, but still the Bills and Josh Allen is a beast. But they got to him eight. They sacked him 8 times. Like I don't know, how Danny Dimes does when he gets sacked 8 times, but Josh Allen's is a monster, and him getting sacked 8 times is it shut him down. So I mean, I'm curious to see what happens with the Colts. I'll let AJ dive into this one first.
Yeah, two strong defenses in the AFC here with the Texans and the Colts. So I expect a low scoring game here. Now, if they really rely and JT plays well, as we saw last week, James Cook, broke that run on their first drive. If JT can make some plays like that, I think that can keep the Colts alive. Is their defense too strong for Mills as far as on the Texans end? That could be a possibility. They're saying Stroud may come back, so that could be a shaky game back from him as well. My favorite here is I like the Colts here. They're in Indy, so and it's they're like I said earlier in the show, they're on fraud alert here. So Colts kind of got to regain their strength here and get their momentum rolling.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, fraud alert, that's crazy, but I mean, you got a point. You got a point. They got to prove themselves. What's your thoughts, Nigel?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Adam in a sense of like you can't trust them yet, but also like the Texans are built the right way. Like they have a stud at corner. Will Anderson is a different breed. They have a great D line. And I saw something the other day where like Will Anderson trains in the offseason. Miles Garrett and Micah Parsons. That's the
Oh
guys to be
shit.
working out with in the offseason, and you're gonna have a great season. Just kind of seeing how he's really kind of taking his game to the next level. Being the second pick or being the second or third pick right with CJ Stroud, they've kind of really elevated that whole city. Once they get CJ Stroud back, I think that's just going to even give them some more pick me up because I mean it's hard to watch your team win a game when you win a game versus a team that you're not supposed to beat and you're on the sideline. You're just in the back of your head. You're kind of just chomping at the bit to like get back. So I honestly don't hate the Texans here, and I'm excited to see what the line is because I don't hate the Texans if it's more than 4.5 points. I don't hate them. And I think I might take them at plus 5.5 right here just because of value, and you can't really trust that Colts yet. And I think we can all agree that Daniel Jones is not anything close to what a Josh Allen is. So you sack that guy 8 times, on the road or at home. I might add you they're going to be, packing up and going there. So it's going to be a hostile environment. I think they're going to come out fiery and hot and kind of aggressive. Just kind of they punch people in the mouth. They punch
Yeah.
people in the mouth. That defense they get after it. Stingley's a dog. Will Anderson, obviously, even their second level, their linebackers are great. They fly around. It's going to be a good game. I don't hate the Texans here at all.
Okay, that's interesting because the Colts still got Sauce Gardner and CJ is gonna come back. If is he gonna be throwing picks? Is he gonna be throwing completions? What is he? Are we throwing touchdowns? We'll see. I'm excited. So we'll hit it over to Alan. How's everything looking on the bet ins? Bet
Yeah.
ins.
Yeah, man. So Houston Texans game, this one I will say it's not really on Vegas's radar as opposed to like, one of those things where all eyes are going to be on it, all money is going to be on it. It's probably, I wouldn't say it's right now, like, doesn't have the most money in it because every game has money in it right now, but it's more on the lower end. So when it
Hmm.
comes down to Vegas, it's probably going to, whatever is, most expected is probably going to happen, right? So with Indiana being at home, right now their money line is at minus 210. Looks like it's going to be a pretty low scoring game, 44 and a half, or 44 is actually the total. And it's literally like minus 110, minus 108. It's kind of teetering there. So either or could go. Um, but I would say when it goes to Nigel, talking about the plus 5.5, I do like that. The reason why is because, again, going based off of whenever a team's at home, they're giving them an extra 2.5 to 3 points. If that's the case, that means they only expect the Indiana to win by literally two or even a field goal, if that. And
Hmm.
with the Houston being plus 5.5, CJ Stroud's not even back. They got a few injuries, and it's still pretty close. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston covers in this game, in my opinion. So definitely, something to be on the lookout. I mean, I know Indiana's 8-3. I know, Daniel Jones doing his thing, but at the same time, we've all seen glimpses throughout this career where he resorted back to when he was playing on the Giants too. So he could have a bad game any day.
And also, to your point, Alan, what's more realistic? The Texans defense coming out and, playing the run pretty well, or, Daniel Jones having to combat the Texans defense playing well and throwing for over 300 yards. I think one's more realistic than the other. So I
Yeah,
think you just kind of have to think about it like that, home or not. I think
yeah,
AJ can kind of speak to this too, just in the sense of like how the game's going to go. I think how the game is played more than any other team in the NFL really dictates if the Colts are successful in a sense. I think a lot of other teams can kind of really, whether it's kind of go off script or routine, but I think the Colts have to kind of stay on a track of keeping Daniel Jones in these parameters of, screens, like handoffs, check downs, and then throwing the ball downfield to like Michael Pittman on like 3rd and 15. But besides that, like if it gets to a point where they kind of are forced to be one dimensional, I think the Texans kind of are a great value here, in alt-right at 5.5.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. And the thing is too is like the Texans, they're 6-5. Indiana's or 8-3. So one of the things I'm sure that's going to happen is they're going to expect Houston not to really be as much of a threat, and that's probably where they'll get bit in the ass more times than not. So they're probably not going to really be taking it as serious, and then I can see Houston easily covering. I'd be
Division game too.
surprised. Yeah, exactly. I would be surprised if that 5.5 moves. In like my opinion and my prediction is that when the game starts on Sunday, it'll probably be plus 3.5. So it's good value right now, plus 5.5 in my opinion.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, well, we'll transition to the two primetime games: the Broncos versus Commanders on Saturday night or Sunday night, and the Giants and the Pats on Monday night. So we'll start with the Broncos versus Commanders. Jane Daniels is out, obviously still. You know, Broncos on a bit of a roll right now. Sean Payton's got them rolling. You got that young quarterback, Bo Nix, freaking gunslinging it. I mean, they got some weapons. I don't know what the injury report looks like for J.K. Dobbins, but it looks like they have the receivers, and you know, they're obviously have been playing well. So I'll start off with Nigel. What are your thoughts on how the Broncos and Commanders game is going to go on Sunday night?
I think they might as well just put like another like a Christmas movie or something. I don't know. But I think it's going to be the Broncos just kind of going to stomp them. The Broncos play ugly football. They're going to run the ball well. Play action. But next, going to get them outside the pocket. I think the Commanders are gonna, I think, give a good shot, but no Jane Daniels, I think, makes them really kind of Marcus Mariota dependent, which you don't want to say that in the year 2025. I don't know here. I just think I don't like the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos are that good. Personally,
Okay.
I don't think Bo Nix is anything special. Just think they have a good scheme around him. Sean Payton's done it for a long time, so I think he knows how to hide flaws. I think good coaches know how to coach. I don't think anybody can disagree that he's a bad coach. I just think he's kind of a dickhead at times. But I think that they have a good nucleus of guys. They know how to win. I just don't trust them deep in the playoffs, but they are they're a 10-11-1 football team easily. Just kind of curious to see how they finish out the year, and I think the Commanders are kind of on life alert now. If they don't get that skinny kid back, from LA, it's going to be a long season. I don't know what they're going to do. Even if they do get him back, he still wasn't playing that great with them there. So I just think that they kind of have to kind of just save face now, try and keep it close. I'm looking at it now. I don't know. It's a Sunday night game. It's going to be a bore. I think. I think the Broncos kind of just take care of business.
Fair enough. That's interesting to say. I mean, like I agree with you. Sean Payton, he's a great coach, and it's I mean they do have a pretty good defense on paper, and I think like if the Commanders don't come ready to play, then I don't know what's going on over there. But I'll let you kind of carry it on. Kind of give your thoughts, AJ.
Yeah,
What are you thinking?
I think in hindsight, when the NFL scheduled this, they thought this would be a really solid game to have in the
100%.
preseason game. Unfortunately, with Daniel Daniels' ugly injury, we don't see him coming back. Broncos defense is probably too strong for Marcus Mariota, so I see them handling this pretty easily. J.K. Dobbins, he's on IR, so he'll probably still be out as well. R.J. Harvey's looking like a solid rookie running back. I don't see this being a high scoring game, but I definitely see the Broncos handling business.
Fair enough. All right. Well, what are the spreads and bets looking like, Alan?
Yeah, so spread right now favors Denver, of course. It's only sitting at -6. Some apps is about -6.5. With the money line being at -304, of course, we're all thinking, Broncos are going to take it all the way. But with the spread being the way it is, it kind of, it's weirdly, you can see it go both ways. I'm personally favoring the Broncos, but I would not be surprised if Washington does some form of either upset or at least cover. Mariota is tough, man. Like, it's weird. I had him in a couple fantasies for the past couple of years, and he actually does really good for me, weirdly enough. But, I can see him coming out and doing his thing. I think it kind of goes based off of like what I said at the last game, where they may come out and look at them as underdogs and may not take it as serious, and then out of nowhere they end up winning, right? So if they can get at least some form of strong defense, I could definitely see them covering. So I'm more on the Washington spread more than anything, and then looking based off of the numbers, it looks like a lot of the money line, like right now, is plus 275. Yesterday it was about plus 285. It's going down. So not saying that means everything because it really doesn't. In fact, they can get blown out by like 20. Who knows? But just going based off the numbers, because you know me, I follow the numbers. I wouldn't be surprised when this game starts. It'll probably be like plus 230, plus 240. If that's the case, I'm going with Washington spread. If it goes higher than that, like Washington plus 300, 350, I'm gonna teeter Denver at -6.5. So I would be on the lookout for those kind of things, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah. That's interesting for sure. So Commanders covering the spread. All right. Well, we'll carry that into Monday Night Football. The Giants versus the Pats. The Giants are the first NFL team this year to be eliminated from the playoffs. They got, their two star rookies injured. I don't think, obviously, there's really any reason for them to come back since they are eliminated from the playoffs and, kind of rest this season. But, I mean, Jameis Winston last week against the Lions was crazy. what he had a receiving touchdown.
We
I mean,
told him,
he
baby.
three. That's crazy, man. He's that guy. Obviously, he's a character. Everyone loves him. I mean, I'm curious to see. Like, I mean, obviously, to the Giants, really, this game is not that important. But to Jameis Winston, he could treat it differently. Going against the Pats in Monday Night Football. I'm curious. What are your thoughts, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, New York's still definitely going to put up a fight. All those guys are playing for bonuses at this point. Jameis, he's playing for the love of the game. I think he's the country's favorite guy to watch right now, even on, the losing team. I'm surprised they got eliminated before Tennessee did, but that's just because their division's a little stronger. Um, you know, Patriots are rolling. Drake May he's looking like the guy over there, a great replacement for Tom Brady, and Vrabel's doing a great job as well. So I think the Patriots will handle it, but they're sitting at 7.5 right now. Giants are going to put up a fight, so I think it's still going to be. It could still be a tight game, but it is in New England, and I see money line wise probably Patriots, but I don't even know if that would be worth taking.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to go against them in New England on the roll they're running. What's your thoughts on it, Nigel?
Well, I think my thoughts are kind of simple. I think this is exactly what you bring a guy like a Jameis Winston to do. Both your star rookies are out. Malik Neighbors gets hurt early on in the season. Now it's like, why do I even go to a Giants game? Now you go to a Giants game and watch Jameis Winston. I think they kind of did what, they kind of completed the whole full Jameis Winston boom cycle. Now he's starting. Now he's getting to play prime time balling
Yeah.
this week. This week we'll probably see probably be a 2 interception, 2 touchdown game from Jameis, something like that. He might throw too early. I think the Patriots are good. Christian Gonzalez in the back end is probably going to catch one. I think Vrabel, to AJ's point, has some boys playing well. Drake May is looking really, really good. It's going to be interesting to see how he does in the playoffs. That way we'll kind of like get to figure out, is it just early success or is he just really just if he's just there now. So I think this is going to be a big game for him because it's a primetime game. I think he does well in big moments, but this is just, I think, a little bit of a bird's eye view into, can a really good team, step on, a not so good team in primetime and kind of get a little bit of that postseason vibe going and just see how they kind of respond to it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Now, that being said, we'll take it over to Alan. What are we looking like for the spreads and the bets?
All I'm gonna say is the absolute lock is England minus 6.5. That's probably my absolute favorite play, and it's
That's it?
cash.
That's it?
That's cashing. I would put the house on it. The house. That's cashing. England
I'm
minus
going
six
to
and a
take that
half.
right now.
The reason why, man, like just looking at the numbers, following the numbers. So the spread was minus 6.5 yesterday. It is now 7, and it's already catering to and pushing towards plus 7.5 by tomorrow. I would not be surprised by when this game starts. It's going to be plus 10. Um, just New England's going to go absolutely nuclear. Giants really have no reason to even play anymore. I mean, they're already cut out. They're probably going to go for a good, pick, depending on if they still have their own picks if they didn't trade them away. And so, it doesn't really matter if they win or lose at this point. So I think Drake May still has stuff to prove. He's in the running for MVP. At least top 3, top 4. I think he's going to keep doing his thing, and I think New England is going to continue to show people why they're on the run, and we can see how far they go in the playoffs. So I know they're going to win. They want to keep that momentum good. They want to keep that their record and everything solid. So I just don't see them losing. There's just no way. So minus 6.5 is my absolute favorite, probably my favorite play out of the entire slate we talked about. So that's where I'm at with that.
Okay, well, you heard it here, folks. I mean, take them for the spread. Take the pass to the spread, 6.5. I mean, I might have to hop on that right now. I was gonna say I was taking a break, but
Right now, it's
I might
good.
have
It's
to.
good money. It's sitting at minus 110, but I wouldn't be surprised if you try to take minus one or minus 6.5 by Saturday, Sunday. It'll probably be like minus 150, 160. So you would lose a
Okay,
little bit of money there, but it's at a good price right now. I would definitely take it.
I like it. I like it. Well, all right. That being said, I mean, I haven't hit much bets with the spread anyways. If it's a lock, it's a lock, obviously, according to Allen. So I'm not missing out on another 16K. That's for damn sure. Well, I think that's about it. I appreciate y'all's time, and I mean, it was a pleasure and an
Lando,
honor, and I love talking with football and Lando.
Me, Mr.
Lando.
Nicky. All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, fellas, you guys enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving, and I salute you. And let's see if we can make some money, baby.
Chase the money, chase the money, chase the money, chase the money.
Her ass out, she going places that you can't. Call up a hoes and